protractor. First, let's go over what an angle is. It is formed by two rays that meet at a point called a vertex. That's the starting point of each ray. Each ray has its own direction. An angle is measured in units called degrees. So here we have a very small angle whose measure is 18 degrees. We have this one that's a little bit bigger, it's 43 degrees. This one's a little bit bigger than 43, it's 55 degrees. And then we have two other angles. One is 110 degrees and the other one is 118 degrees. A protractor is an instrument used to measure angles. It has two scales, an inner scale in here and an outer scale. Each scale begins at 0 degrees and ends at 180 degrees. So this outer scale, we can see, starts here to the left, and then it goes all the way around and ends at 180 degrees on the right, whereas the inner scale is the opposite. It's starting on the right and then is increasing up to 180 degrees to the left. The degrees on a protractor come from the fact that there are 360 degrees in a circle, so therefore half of 360 degrees is 180 degrees. So that's why the protractor measures from 0 degrees to 180 degrees, both in the outer measurements and the inner measurements. When using a protractor, you can extend the rays that form the sides of the angle, and then you can place the center of the base of the protractor on the vertex of the angle and then measure it. Let's actually try the protractor out. Measure the angles on the board using this protractor. Use your own protractor at your seat to measure on your paper. So if we were to take this protractor, we have to line it up with the vertex so that it lines up with the line that is directly in the middle. So 0 is being shown as the inner reading on this protractor. So then I'm going to use the inner reading here, and it's directly on the line between 100 and 120. So therefore the measure of this angle is 110 degrees. Now let's look at the other one. This one is at an angle, so I'm going to first rotate it so that it is parallel or lining up with one of the edges. And then I'm going to move it into place so that it's right on the tip of the vertex. Rotate it a little bit more. There it goes. Okay, so now this lines up with the 0 degrees, and again we're reading from the inside, and it's right on the 40 degree line. So this angle measures 40 degrees. Now let's try two more. Measure the angles on the board using this protractor. Use your own protractor to measure on your paper. So if I take this protractor and I move it over here to the angle to the left, and I place the center of the protractor right at the vertex location, we can see that it goes directly through 0 degrees, and that's our outer reading. So therefore, we are going to still use that same outer reading when we read our other ray that creates the angle, and that's at 80 degrees. So that's the measure of this angle. Now if we look at this one, we can see that it's actually kind of smaller in length for where it extends. So let's first draw some more lines to extend it out in the direction that each of those are going. This will make reading the protractor a lot easier when we bring it over. And that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to bring the protractor over here, and we're going to have to rotate it. Okay, and we did rotate it, and now it's even, and it's following this line out. Oh, we got to do it here. So that's lined up at 0. Okay, so now 0 is on the inside, so we're going to read this one, and if this segment was thicker, it would go through at 30, as you can see there. So this is a 30-degree angle.